kill our imagination. And can you speak to that?
Sure. First of all, I want to say something about even May's presence here, even though it's only through screen. So little do we actually get to see Palestinians, even on our screens, never mind meet them. And when this is the situation, it's very easy to erase them. And I'm thinking about so many people, even around me, that in the midst of, the last 2 years, following October 7th, were so easily, they would so easily say, well, fuck them, let them die. But this is May, and these are people like May and like us, exactly. We just don't know them. We live in the matrix. We see only what the government wants us to see. And they are very careful not to show anything that doesn't align with their narrative. So we have to challenge that. And we have to seek alternative venues and paths to seeing what is really happening. And I invite you, for example, check out our Facebook page, מה באמת קורה בגדה המערבית. Every single day we upload one video out of many. You see for your own eyes, spread it, let people know. Okay, so that's about the matrix we live in. Regarding your question, yes, I think this is Netanyahu's greatest achievement. That over the last 15 years, he killed our very ability to imagine an alternative. Most people, especially the young ones, they don't even believe that anything other than what we are witnessing is possible. Of course it is. It was possible. Why shouldn't it be possible again? This locking, it's like we live in a prison of consciousness. It's like a kipat barzel over our skies, cognitive. They shoot any alternative in the media, in politics, so that we don't even begin to think that there's a way out. And when there's no choice, this is what they keep telling us, there's no choice. Milchemet Netzach, And they have to convince us there is no choice in order for us to accept that. So this is what we have to challenge. As you said, conflicts do end. You don't need a historian to tell you that. They do end, and far worse conflicts than ours ended. You mentioned Germany and Israel, and that the fact that so many Israelis migrate to Germany now. This is 70 plus years after the Holocaust. And you can mention Northern Ireland and Suma and so many other places, So it is possible. But we need to first believe and challenge this no choice narrative.
Thank you. We had a screening in Northern Ireland with peace organizations and with former enemy combatants from Belfast. And when the film ended, they just sat there crying. And said everybody thinks their conflict is different, and essentially they're all the same.
Could you speak about your experience?
I want to open it for questions now, because first of all, I want to appreciate the festival for having us and arranging a second Q&A and screening, which wasn't originally going to be here, but we're glad to be here with you. So we do want to open up for questions because we have limited time, and you had one.
Share your experience making the film.
The question was sharing my experience in making the film. So I made an earlier film called Disturbing the Peace, Mafrimat Seder. And I was basically embedded with combatants for almost 3 years, which overlapped the 2014 Gaza war. And so had built up a really enormous level of trust and connection with them all, which made this easier to do. It would have been impossible, I think, just to land on the ground and do it. But the first film is really about how we're born into narratives that tell us who we're supposed to love and who we're supposed to hate, who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. And how do we transcend that? And it follows the founders of the organization and people who were involved in the early years, and you understand how it made sense to do what they did to participate in the violence circle. But they all went through this process to embrace nonviolence. The question after October 7th and the trauma, the question was, can they stay together? What happens to the organization in the midst of this kind of trauma? And what motivated making this film was there was a screening. They were invited to the White House and to the State Department and the Senate in the US. And there was a screening in Washington, D.C. that a number of them, including Avner, were at, and I was there. And afterward, we spent a number of days together. And what became clear is that the movement continues to evolve. And while that film was about transcending the narratives, this film really began to be about what does collective liberation mean? What does it mean for us all to be free? And an understanding that they came to that it is the only way. So, and there were so many moments in making this film that were deeply impactful, obviously. And I have lived here in the country before. I have very strong connections here. There was a moment, Avner, when I knew that there was a film to make, when you told me about the earliest days and about getting the call from Jamil, which is in the film. But there's something that I didn't put in the film in the way that you talked about it that I think is so powerful, where Jamil Kassas, who is one of the leaders in the movement, an extraordinary human being, he's the one who lost his brother at the age of 14, who was shot in Dheisheh for going outside during a curfew. He's the one who made the call to these guys. And one of the things he said was, now you'll know what it's like to do this work in the middle of the trauma. Because for so many years, it was out there for Israelis. It was something that was happening in Gaza, and it was something that was happening in the West Bank. And even if you were involved, you could come home. That was no longer the case after October 7th. There was a recognition on the Palestinians' part, but I believe also on the Israeli members' part, of something that had been going on for 20 years that was hard to get your head around, which was what it is to do this work during an ongoing trauma. Because that's what they've been suffering in the 2014 Gaza war, and each of the wars and all of the time between. They've chosen to stand up in nonviolence, to believe in the humanity of the other, and to commit their lives to this work. And that's something that I realized in the making of this film that I couldn't grasp completely, even though I knew it, and I think it's true probably of you guys as well.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yes.
Hi. I just wondered, since October 7th, I'm wondering about the support in the West Bank, in Gaza, in Israel, for the work that you do. That I'm obviously not you. I'm not speaking of you as a filmmaker. I'm speaking of Combatants for Peace. I want to first of all, I should have started by saying thank you for making the film and thank you for the work you're doing in Combatants for Peace. It's obviously incredibly important. I meet with a lot of NGOs in Israel, and I'm surprised by the trending upwards of support for the work they do in spite of the horrors of recent times in this part of the world, and I wonder what it's been like.
Thank you. May, could you hear that question? It's okay. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the question was, how do you continue to do the work, and what kind of work are you doing in the West Bank now? It's what kind of support you're getting.
Yeah, I'm wondering about support from...
What kind of support from the community you're getting in the West Bank after October 7th, and how that's evolved over these last 2 years. And so if you could speak to that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the question. I must say that the work of October the 7th and after was the work of so many years before. So many years before. Our work did not start on October the 7th as well. We started 10 wars before that. Intifada before that. So we have brought ourselves again and again and again and again to trust each other, to meet, to get up and to meet, to acknowledge that there is war happening in Gaza, and still I woke up every morning and I went to meet, to sit, to talk, to resist together, to take it from nonviolent dialogue to nonviolent resistance, taking action together. So also our communities grew to see us taking actions together. They grew to see Avner and Chen and so many other people standing in the streets and naming them and honoring them and coming to demonstration and solidarity camps and nonviolent communication and retreats and trainings, and they come to eat in our homes with our families. They came to meet. And this is exactly what shapes and makes the difference of why we were able to continue doing what we did on the 7th of October specifically. How come? How come we checked on each other? How come the first thought was like, oh my gosh, is Sharon there? Is Heather there? Is Maya there? Who is there that I know? Standing in the middle of the Mount of Olives, thinking of both the Palestinians and the Israelis and feeling my heart split because both of them belong equally to this heart. I know them so well. My family knows them so well by their birthdays and by the food they eat and the kind of milk their body prefers. And it is this work exactly that made it happen. What we do here in Combatants for Peace is not only meet in the office, is not only sit and talk. We meet and we bring dialogue, we bring communication, and then we map. How do I take now this understanding and this acknowledgement? One of the things that I do is facilitate nonviolent communication and resistance. And this is daily. We meet, we sit, and we disagree. And though we disagree, we always agree that it's never disconnection. We disagree, but we never disconnect. We always connect on our humanity and intention and love for each other. I know no matter what happens, Avner, we have a word in Arabic, which is Rafiq, which is only given to people that walk the hard journeys with you, and mainly the ones that joined a resistance form. And I know deep in my heart for the past 14 years that I have a community of these people, that my family and my Palestinian community in the West Bank, in Jericho, in Bijala, in Hebron, in Masafer Yatta, in Kardala, in Bardala, in Pharisiyah, in the Jordan Valley, name it, they have met them. They have seen them. And I, myself, also do the same. I cross illegally to the other side to speak in a protest and to lead a protest and to resist and to hunger strike. And I speak and I name the hostages equally. And this is the only way for our nations to trust us, is when we name, and this is the only way to protect Avner as a Jewish Israeli today, that I, as May Shaheen, a Palestinian woman from the West Bank, names him and honors him and speaks of him and his nation as a nation that we want to live with, that we are against oppression systems and not Jewish people. We were never against Jewish people. This land was never against you. It was always in togetherness with you. And this is exactly what we do in the West Bank. And I invite you to look. There are many programs that you can join if you go to our website, the Freedom School, Madrasat Dror, and so many programs and initiatives that the Combatants does. We were just actually recently with Steve even in tours in support in the Jordan valleys and many different areas and in Bardala. And we help support build border resources and bring businesses. And so a lot that comes within the nonviolent resistance under the umbrella of Combatants that you are guys invited to come, to join. Yeah.
Thank you, May. I want to share just a couple of thoughts because I know we don't have much more time together.
The other thing
1 minute? Less than 1 minute. Okay. I was in Ramallah this week, and I was invited to the Palestinian Museum. And there was an exhibit of one of the earliest buildings that was bombed was the Museum of Art. And when you walk through this museum, if you didn't know there was Arabic on the walls, you would think you were at a Jewish museum, honoring the narratives of our ancestors and those who have suffered. Humanity. I want to single out one person here, and I want to thank him, and that's Alon Kargus. And I know for a reason. It was a different time, but in 2016, when Disturbing the Peace came out, there was, for 50-something straight weeks, there was the screening every week of Disturbing the Peace here at the Cinematek. And at every screening, there was a Palestinian and an Israeli here to answer questions from the audience. We need to begin to find ways to rehumanize the other, because that is what's being killed in the media onslaught and everything else. We all have there's one thing there at the card, that last card that says the Commandments for Peace understands we all have a choice. Usually in the American version, everything fades out except for those last words. We all have a choice. And once we know that, it is a perpetual choice. And thank you for making the choice to be here today with us. Please let people know about the film. Thank you.
Thank you, Habibi. Thank you, Avna, Steve, Mia. Thank you all. Honored to be. Habibi.